Podcast Studios. This is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends.
What's happening, Kat?
Oh, I'm just, you know what? The good weather is on the horizon here. I think we're past all of the rain shit. And I think this week, I'm going to say it on a Wednesday, but I think this week is kind of flying by.
Is it?
It's strange.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of. Not for you.
No.
feeling
There was that whole needles fiasco.
Oh, that would do it. No, I get that. I totally understand.
I did get a lot of emails, though. Sorry, not emails. I haven't had an email in years, by the way.
Whenever someone emails about our show or the pod, I'm like, oh.
How did you get this email address?
Even though, by the way, you could probably find it on our station sites, right?
I think so.
You can connect with us on our stations. If you prefer email, cool, man. It all comes to my phone, so I really don't give a shit. Like either way, no matter how you contact us, it comes to our phone. Mm-hmm. Whether it's on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case is, it comes to our phone. So I don't really care.
Well, the week is, not the week. We got a lot of DMs. That's where we were.
Yeah. And people talked about your ankle, which, by the way, is there any improvement? Yeah.
Last night I was using the massage gun on it. Usually that hurts a lot when I get down to the foot. Didn't feel a thing.
Oh, interesting.
It feels like a normal foot again. So this drug is a miracle. Putting it in sucked.
Right.
But it's amazing how many people reached out to me yesterday that said, oh my God, thank you for saying what you said. A fear of needles is a real phobia and nobody takes it seriously. Everybody just tells you, suck it up.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's a fear for people. It just reminded me of, I remember, did you ever watch any of the Saw movies? I know you're not a big movie person. Did you ever watch any of the Saw movies?
No.
There's one scene you probably would have had a visceral reaction to, because even me, who I don't consider myself afraid of needles. Like if I'm going to get a needle done or get blood work done, I don't care. But lots of needles would freak me out. And there's a scene in one of the Saw movies where one of the girls falls backwards into a pit of needles.
Oh.
Just sticking out of her everywhere.
It's
fucked up.
That's
anyway.
A horrible visual.
Yeah, but that was the only...
Thank you.
Sorry, when you said that, you made me think of that. I don't know why. Just where my mind went.
Coming up in a few minutes, you mentioned the term visceral reaction. I'm going to demonstrate for you what that sounds like in audio form coming up in minutes. First off, huge news here today, Kat. One of the leading auto manufacturers, Toyota, has announced plans for a futuristic spin on the traditional internal combustion engine, despite the global push for battery-powered cars. How many billions are we spending in Canada to build batteries for battery-powered vehicles? And I think it was just assumed that since VW's coming and since Honda's coming, all the other ones will eventually come too. Not Toyota. They're out. Toyota is brilliant because they've announced they're just going to redesign the current engines. They're going to create, or they already have created, what they call a lean, compact engine that does not require regular gas. It'll run on green fuels like hydrogen and bioethanol. Toyota executives say energy supply conditions differ globally. Its products have to meet the various customer needs around the world. They also said that the rush to get everybody into electric vehicles is not realistic. Decades away, they said.
Yeah.
They also said it's not socially responsible. So you get a Japanese car company here, which probably employs about 1 million people in Japan making Toyota vehicles. They know that they're going to lose a shit ton of money if they try and completely throw their business on its ear in the next few years. So they're saying, screw you. Everybody else, go ahead. Build all the battery-powered cars you want. It costs a lot of money. It's horrible for the environment, all that mining. Not to mention these batteries are not exactly recyclable. So Toyota's not going to be part of the problem. They want to get cars running on, I don't know what bioethanol is, but I do know a fair bit about hydrogen. And what everybody tells me is when some are going to be falling all over themselves to try and get themselves into a battery-powered vehicle, the smart ones are going to go with a hydrogen-powered vehicle because it'll go a lot further. It'll be a heck of a lot a heck of a lot cheaper. There will be no need to try and find a charger near you. It's hydrogen. It's essentially water. You can fill up your car in as little as 5 minutes, just like you use gas, and then you're on your way.
It literally runs off water?
Essentially. Hydrogen's got more components to it than that.
Okay.
But hydrogen is the way to go, Kat. I mean, we're not going to put a nuclear reactor in every Camry. And
Sure.
what else does Toyota make? Toyota.
RAV4. That's like
RAV4?
one of the number one. Okay, listen though. There's still a lot of questions though for me. Like, what does this mean, and why haven't we done this sooner? If this is so easy as like, oh, just water plus a couple of other compounds, and boom, bada boom, bada bing. Why are we doing this with gasoline then? How long does it take to, or how long will your car run off of this? What does that look like?
That's the question.
Yeah, these are the
why are we got
what's
such
happening?
a push on battery powered
I'm confused. Or did they seriously like just find a way to make it work? Like maybe that was always a thought, but nobody could figure out or invent an engine that actually worked it the way it's supposed to be worked. Like I'm not going to pretend to know any fucking thing about how it operates or even how a regular engine, gasoline powered engine operates now. But it's a little confusing. Like if you could do that, I guess because the push is to do that so that you don't lose money. So money always, of course, money makes the world go round. But I mean, I have a lot of questions as a user of that vehicle. Or is this even meant for everybody?
Well, I'm looking right now at the Government of California's website on hydrogen fueling. They say the most abundant element in the universe, hydrogen, is among the cleanest and greenest fuels for powering cars. That's possible thanks to sophisticated fuel cell technology that can be applied in electric vehicles using compressed hydrogen gas. In a fuel cell, hydrogen reacts electrochemically to produce electricity that powers the car. The only waste product, the only emission that comes out of your car, water vapor. Well.
Okay.
Why again are we doing all this mining and giving out billions to build batteries
I don't know.
when this is an option? It also says here, fuel cell electric cars typically go 300 miles or more on a full tank of hydrogen with the ability to refuel in 3 to 5 minutes. Hydrogen fueling is no more complicated or time-consuming than filling a standard car with gasoline. Most hydrogen fueling stations are located at existing gas stations using dispensers that look very similar but have a different nozzle than regular gas pumps do.
Okay, yeah, I'm just reading about the Mirai. What do we call it? Mirai?
Could be.
That's what it is. It's a 2024 Mirai XLE. They say when fully fueled with hydrogen, it has an impressive EPA estimated 402-mile driving range rating. And the limited edition has an EPA estimated 357-mile driving range rating. And that's right from Toyota.com.
So you're getting almost 600 kilometers per tank. You can fill it up like regular gas, except it uses hydrogen, and it only emits water, not the byproduct of fuel when it's burned.
Yeah, I mean, if it works. There's a lot of people who have already tested this thing, by the way. You could find their stuff on YouTube, but I'm just glancing now at everybody who has already tested this vehicle, by the way, because they do have vehicles which are available for you to test. Some people, not everybody, not the general population, but people who do these things, who test these cars.
Can I go just a little conspiracy theorist on you? I think that people who have tried to keep the hydrogen option off the table are the ones who are profiting the most from the switch to green energy.
I would believe it. I would believe that 100%.
You know, like we talk a lot. Is there really a cure for cancer? Apparently cancer has been cured like 4 or 5 times. But there's such a vested interest, so much money to be made in cancer care that anytime somebody comes out and says, hey, I did it, I cured cancer, they end up dead.
Yeah.
So we could very, very easily have hydrogen vehicles on our roads everywhere. Again, these are basically zero emissions without all the environmental nonsense of having to mine lithium and cobalt for these lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah, and not to mention all of the risks surrounding lithium batteries. I mean, we just talked yesterday about things exploding. You know, this I assume may have some risks to it too, but not quite the same.
Everyone at Toyota should make a video real quick that insists they are not suicidal. Get it out there in front of the public realm, because this is bad news for the electric vehicle manufacturers, the ones who have gone all in. Now, the ones who haven't gone all in, Toyota is the latest now to say, we're not doing the battery-powered thing exclusively. We'll make some battery-powered EVs, but we're going to focus on hydrogen and bioethanol because in different parts of the world, they have a lot more access to hydrogen than they do gas. Here in Canada, we have a lot of gas. It's just the way it is. Redesigning the engine to make it smaller, that's brilliant. We also know Ford, for example, they are not going all in on battery-powered shit. They've pushed back the retooling of their plant a couple of years because they know we're not there yet either.
I know. I worry we're spending I worry so much that we're, especially in this province, that we're spending way too much money on what we think is the future when it might not be.
Well, it's not what we think is the future. It's what the government has determined is the
going to
future.
be the future. Yes, exactly.
And I really don't see it going that way. I've never owned a Toyota, never really thought twice about buying one. I'm a hell of a lot more interested in buying a Toyota now.
Not cheap, though, by the way. It looks to be the same as like an electric car. Like the base model is 50-something grand base from what I could see. To those who can't even get it yet.
I feel like we won't really be having serious conversations about this for another 5 or 6 years. I think for the vast majority of people, the car they're in is what it is, probably gas. Their next car will likely be gas just because this weird thing with EVs. I don't think people are there yet. Not a lot of people.
Not a lot. I think majority are not.
I think the car after that, when we get closer to 2030, is going to be the one where you're going to have to shell out and get yourself an EV. But if Toyota's on the market with hydrogen-powered vehicles and bioethanol-powered vehicles, I don't know that I'm going to go with that battery-powered option. And the reason is simple. I care about the environment. And if this just emits water vapor, why the hell wouldn't we do that?
Yeah, lots of questions. And they should be asked.
I told you I was going to, in audio form, show you what a visceral reaction is. If you'd like to see what true hate and disdain looks like, I'd like to introduce you to Robert De Niro thinking about Donald Trump. Listen to this.
This is the time to stop him by voting him out once and for all. We don't want to wake up after the election saying, what, again? My God, what the hell have we done? We can't have that happen again. On January 6th, while Republican lawmakers despicably tried to keep the loser Trump, in the White House, and Trump-inspired insurrectionists stormed
New
the
York?
Capitol.
It was in New York.
Brave
It was
men
outside the
and
trial.
women from law enforcement put their lives on the line to defend this country. Our democracy. They are the true heroes. These guys are the true heroes. They stood and put their lives on the line for these lowlives, for Trump.
I mean, Robert De Niro's a New Yorker. He doesn't like Trump. Trump's a famous New Yorker as well, although now identifies as a Floridian. When it comes to De Niro, he is like the New York version of Jimmy Kimmel. No doubt he hates Donald Trump. Okay, fine. I mean, everybody has their preference, but I have never seen what I saw yesterday. Robert De Niro is, of course, a legendary actor. Everybody has seen and probably loved at least one of Robert De Niro's roles. Yesterday, he went out there to try and convince people that Donald Trump is the devil himself. And he got shouted down hard by regular New Yorkers. In fact, it looks like now, if the U.S. were to hold an election, Donald Trump would win in New York, which is one of the safest Democrat/liberal seats in America. If Trump were to win New York, people like De Niro are going to have to move. They have to because they've made a career out of trying to shit on the guy.
Well, that's the part I don't understand. If Robert De Niro, hello, if you put half of your energy that you put into hating and creating speeches against Donald Trump into actually running, maybe you get somewhere.
Maybe you
Why
would.
don't you? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the people who stand up there on a podium and spend so much time arguing against someone in general. This is the second time now that he's done this. And of course, he continued his speeches all throughout Trump's presidency. So if Trump becomes president again, expect to see more of Robert De Niro until he gives himself a heart attack. My goodness, because sometimes he gets so, I mean, you're right, he gets so worked up about it. But I just wonder the people who put so much energy against someone, why don't they try to do something about it? Like, has anyone ever asked them that? Like, you try so fucking hard, run against him. Or you should have attempted to run.
I think Trump is going to win this lawsuit. I heard a decent amount about the closing arguments yesterday, and I followed the case pretty well. The hope was that they could convict him criminally, and that would make enough people that are on the fence say, okay, no, I'm not going to vote for a convicted felon. It looks like he's probably going to win. He did everything he needed to do to win, and that doesn't help the people who don't want to see him reelected. The problem is you've got people like De Niro and a handful of others running around out there begging people, don't vote for the guy, don't vote for the guy. I don't think they can see the writing on the wall that the average middle-class person is broke. They've had enough, and they want a change. And frankly, it didn't need to be Trump, but The Democrats aren't offering up anything new. They put up Joe fucking Biden.
That's the thing, is like you need to give options to people. I don't know what else you can expect.
Why are they still being polite, saying, okay, Joe, you can do 4 more years? It's probably going to cost them the election, and I don't think that most Democrats want that. And I got to think that most Democrats have a mortgage, and they don't want another 4 years of what's going on. Their interest rates are high, too, and inflation down there is really high. While we're talking controversial figures, though, I do want to mention this. Full disclosure, I was a big fan of the late, great Rob Ford. Rob Ford used to be the mayor of Toronto. You may have seen him on late night television when things like the crack scandal happened and things like that. Mm-hmm. He made some off-color comments. He never ate Olivia Donda's pussy. He never did it. You know, all these things that were at the time surreal. It was surreal to see Toronto as the center of the world's attention because of the mayor. And I know that there's some people who look back and think, oh, wow, that was embarrassing. Our mayor did crack. By the way, lots of mayors have done crack. It's a thing. Look at Marion Barry and more. However, there's a lot of people who didn't like Rob simply because Rob was truly a man of the people. He was a conservative in an extremely liberal city, but he got elected because he was a personable individual and because I feel like he was principled. He said what he would do and he did what he said. You know, he's the guy who, when he was a city councilor, threw out in front of the cameras all the different perks that he got as a city councilor. Look at this. I get free passes to the zoo. I get paid 6 figures. I don't need free passes to the zoo. Free Metro Pass. That's worth a couple $100 a month. And he was showing people how much money was being wasted. And people resonated with that. They thought, you know, here's a guy who seems like a regular guy. He's much closer to me than, say, a John Tory or an Olivia Chow.
There was a lot of honesty when it came to Rob Ford.
Sure. And Rob, when he was running for a second term as mayor, contracted a very, very dangerous and fatal form of cancer. He did succumb to cancer, in case you don't know. Yesterday would have been Rob's 55th birthday. Rob's a great guy who did appear on the radio show before you started, Kat. He came in there at the height of the crack scandal. And
no, so I was there, but I was on vacation when he came in.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
It was the craziest thing because I remember like that happened to be my vacation weekend. I was like in Jamaica or something. But yeah, we were still on air together when he was doing his thing. And then it was last minute. And I remember you emailing me like, holy shit, what are the odds he's coming in? I was like, no way. But it was a media frenzy at our work. I know that much at the time.
Well, nobody could get an interview at the time. But, you know, he was an Etobicoke guy. We were in Etobicoke. And I think he knew that I would give him a fair interview. And I did. And Canada.ca or Canada.com at the time said it was probably the best interview Rob Ford had ever done because he was able to talk about what was going on in his personal life and as mayor. And I learned a lot about him. I think he's a great person. I think he did great things for the city. So one of the things we do for politicians after they retire or step down is we honor them. That's why we have things like Lester B. Pearson International Airport. That's why we have things like Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport. That's why we have like Craig fucking Kielburger High School. By the way, it is crazy that we still have a high school in Milton named after the Kielburger brothers. But anyway, that's another topic. We honor our politicians, the ones who are notable, do big things. We honor them with small gestures. Now, nobody's going to name an airport after the mayor of Toronto. The only one who might possibly get that treatment eventually is former mayor Mel Lastman. But Rob Ford was honored yesterday with a stadium. Rob was a volunteer football coach in Etobicoke and at Centennial Park, the nice stadium there where the team played. Rob spent many hours there volunteering his time to coach when he was a city councilor. He had to give it up when he became mayor because those responsibilities were pretty great. But either way, he did that. And it was suggested several years ago that they renamed the stadium Rob Ford Stadium. City council, because they are so bitter and hateful, wouldn't even do that.
No, really?
It was just recently that they finally said, okay, fine. We're going to name the stadium at Centennial Park in Etobicoke after the late Mayor Rob Ford. Now, they probably conceded on that because they didn't want to have to start naming schools and parks and stuff after him. So they gave him somewhere out in the West End, and it was probably the best place to do it. Last night, to her credit, Mayor Olivia Chow showed up and honored Rob Ford. They didn't like each other necessarily. They didn't get along great. Of course, Premier Doug Ford, his brother, was there at the ceremony last night. And for the most part, all the politicians got along. It was great to see Stephen Lecce there and a handful of other prominent politicians to see them unveil the new sign for Rob Ford Stadium. And then I'm looking at the tweet on the City of Toronto website. Of course, they put out a tweet. The City of Toronto hereby renames Centennial Park Stadium in memory of former Mayor Rob Ford. Here's the news release. Kat, the amount of hate in this tweet, in the replies, is fucking crazy. He's dead. Why are you guys spending any time and energy bitching about this? The guy died.
That's where they go to bitch about stupid shit.
Leave him alone.
I know. People waste their energy all the time on there. You know what's so funny is too, most of those people are unhappy, right? The people who go out of their way to comment negative things in any means. Like, I understand the ones that really make sense. Like, wow, that shouldn't be. So go ahead and attempt to voice your opinion on X or on Facebook or whatever, Instagram. But the amount of people that do it because they're truly unhappy is outstanding. That's the type of person that goes to that feed and says, this is fucking stupid, this whatever, and then goes to the next one and complains. Like, that's all it is, and I'm sure they know that.
What I'm trying to figure out, though, is this political? Are the people who are saying very, very nasty and hateful things about Rob Ford the same people who are cheering on renaming Dundas Square Sankofa Square? Are these people who hate Rob Ford Stadium the ones who are really willing on decriminalizing drugs? Is it a left versus a right thing, or is it just people who are miserable? I don't know why you would go and take a victory lap on somebody who's dead. He died. He can't even defend himself now. It would have been his birthday. And you decide to shit on the guy?
P.S. It happened. So I don't know why people even bother with that shit.
It's so
frustrating. It happened. It's done now. Move along with your life. You don't care. You're never going to that stadium, are you? Nope. Do you know anyone who's going to go to it? Maybe not. So fucking move along.
It's actually a decent stadium. I'd go there to watch a game. Reports of tick bites and tick-borne illnesses extremely high in Ontario right now, Kat. Etick.ca says there's been more than 1,100 sightings of black-legged ticks. Those are the ones that carry Lyme disease. So far this year, 1,100. This same time, the last time they did the report, there was 120. Almost 10 times more ticks.
Whoa. Could that be a lot of rain that we got? Like, is there a reason for it, are they saying? Or does it even, I guess it doesn't even matter. The fact that they're there. Make sure that your pets are guarded against ticks. I think it's really important. There's a lot of ways that you can save money. And I understand as a pet owner or in general, if you're struggling, you're like, we can go without that. We can go without this. If your dog spends any amount of time outside, and most dogs do, and they enjoy being outside, you want them to be outside in the fresh air and go on those trail walks, just get the fucking tick medication. You know, even if you have to tell your vet, give me the cheapest one. Just get it for your dog, because that's not fun.
Are there options? Can you get like a cheaper version?
You can. They're going to, I don't want to use the word peddling, but they're going to give you the ones that, it's like a pharmacist. It's like anybody else who might have a good rapport with a certain drug company. Same thing's going to go for a vet.
Little massage here and there. Like, you push my product and I will take care of you.
There's certain pamphlets that are just sitting there in the vet's office, right? Like, you see these pamphlets, you're sitting there and you're going, this must be the best one. No, it's not necessarily because it's the best one. And the generic, the no name, does exist for drugs, whether it's for pets or humans. You can ask for the generic. You can spend less. Make sure that you know your rights to do that and ask the questions. And if they try to claim to you that's the only one that they sell, call a couple vet offices just to check in. Anyway, if it's about a cost thing, is all I'm saying is, like, come on. Let your dog enjoy the summertime and don't have to worry about the ticks. It's good.
We have spoken a few times recently about some of the corners that people are cutting because the economy is so bad and the rates are so high for interest rates.
Yeah, for sure.
I firmly believe there are way, way, way more people than we think out there driving around with no insurance, for example, or with unpaid fines and probably an expired license because they just can't afford it right now. I'm wondering how many pets are facing these cuts as well. Yep. How many people who just said, I'd love to get my dog their tick medication, but I can't afford it.
Yep. And I mean, look, we have a lot of good relationships with humane societies around where we've worked for many years, whether it be in Etobicoke, whether it be in KW. We still receive all of that information. And I can tell you, it's not just anecdotal, because we have heard that's the case, and people surrendering their pets. And thankfully, they surrender their pets over a lot of other things. We've heard some fucking horror stories of people just ditching their animals, but they're bringing them to the Humane Society because they cannot afford to feed them. Even the dog food is too much for them, or the cat food, or whatever the case.
Speaking of which, did I hear right? Somebody abandoned one of their dogs. It was in Guelph,
At the
right?
Guelph Lake I believe it was the Guelph Lake Conservatory. In the, I don't even know where this is located, but it was basically where all the shit goes, literally, from the bathroom. Abandoned their Chihuahua. Thankfully, the Chihuahua is doing okay, but funds are needed. It's the Guelph Humane Society if you want to reach out and donate and help them out a little bit to make sure that this dog's okay. But by all means, the dog was saved by someone who managed to hear the dog's cries.
I would like to again propose, and I will make this commitment, even though I'm really not a fan of Justin Trudeau. You want to know what would get my vote? The next leader who stands up and shows some balls and does the right thing and says anybody who commits a crime against an animal, the punishment will be just like if they'd done it against a human. In other words, if you kill an animal, it's the same punishment, 25 to life, as you'd get for killing a human. Same thing with abuse, neglect, all those sort of things. It should be the exact same punishment. There should be no daylight between what we love so much, our family pets, and the horrible things that are happening to them. Okay, we are low on time here before we get to the fun stuff, so let me just blow through a couple other things. In Waterloo Region, drug capital of Canada at times, 35 overdoses in 3 days. Between May 23rd and 26th, 35...
deaths?
Overdoses that required medical treatment. 2 of them died.
Okay.
In 3 days, 35 people needed medical intervention because of toxic drug supply? Holy shit, Kat. Yeah. That's insane.
It's all correlated, though. We know that. Everything we're talking about, the struggles, and people tend to lean toward when they feel like they want to give up. That's where they go.
Recent posts on the Loblaws is out of control Reddit group. These are the people who organized the Loblaw boycott for this month, which is almost over. They say they want to continue it. I think most people who are doing it are probably waiting for the month to be over, and then at least they have the option again. If you decide to go back, maybe you discovered another grocery store that you like even more. Well, Loblaws owns Shoppers Drug Mart, and this time they're attacking shoppers for selling things like emergency contraceptives and vitamins at much, much higher prices than Walmart. One post shows Contingency One. That's a generic emergency contraceptive. Shoppers is selling it for $36.15. At Walmart, it's $14.23. What the hell is going on here, Loblaw? If Walmart can sell it for $14.23, I have a feeling that's much closer to the actual retail price. Selling it at $36.15. And keep in mind, this is an emergency contraceptive. This isn't preventative like condoms. This is, we had a whoops or...
And we don't have a bunch of options when it comes to that. It's not like you could pick from a million different pain relievers. You can't really pick from a million different emergency birth control options.
It's more than
Not
double.
yet, anyway. I don't know.
More than double.
Yeah.
It didn't cost shoppers any more than it cost Walmart to stock it in their store.
Yeah.
So what are they doing other than gouging? And then they wonder why the public thinks, wow, we're being gouged. That's exactly why. It's shit just like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Finally, next week, Toronto will be overrun with naked bike riders as the World Naked Bike Ride
still doing that?
returns.
Oh, fuck.
That's what I thought. When I read this, I thought, are we still doing that?
Still carrying on with this.
The World Naked Bike Ride has become a traffic-stopping annual tradition for 20 years since it began. Riders strip down to their socks and cycle around Toronto. The purpose of this ride, because you're probably wondering, why, is to celebrate cycling and the human body while demonstrating the vulnerability of cyclists on the road and protecting the protesting the overuse of fossil fuels and crude oil. The ride is June the 8th at 10 a.m. beginning at Coronation Park if you're interested.
I mean, it gets attention. I hear you, but I don't. Is this regulated by the city?
Somebody must be regulating it.
Because
There's got
how
to be a
can
reason.
they advertise this openly? Like last I checked, this is public nudity and you could get charged for it. Why is that not the case here?
I don't know, actually. At some point, somebody must have said it was okay. There's got to be somebody who told all these police
Exposure.
officers.
I mean, there could be a lot of pervs in there. There probably would be. I wouldn't let my kids anywhere near there. I think most people won't.
It's kind of
Fucking everybody better not.
You know, back in the day, I used to laugh at it. I'd be like, well, look at these people riding around naked on a bike. Why would you need to ride around naked on a bike? I think this is just me thinking about it for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of a sickness for some of these people.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you want to ride around on a bicycle naked in full display of everybody? Most of us have an ounce of modesty that we don't necessarily want to show off all of our privates to whoever happens to be walking by. But I'm also aware that there are people out there who are called exhibitionists who like to be seen.
Yes.
Now, usually they like to be seen in not in such a brazen way. They're the ones who will leave the curtains open and walk in front when they happen to be naked, or answer the door and their robe comes open. Those type of people. Not usually are you out on full display in the public.
No, and I think even the media, like the articles that are coming out about it, like, get ready for it. Well, it's good to warn people, I suppose. But also, at the same, you're also advertising it to some people who I think are not there for the. I don't even think there's right reasons to do it. Like, I'm with you. Like, listen, this is just our thoughts on it. I don't think there's any good reason to do it. By all means, if you want to stress that biking is better than driving a car, cool. There's bike to work days. There's all kinds of different days that you can take part in. You don't need to be naked for it.
No.
You think that it's just getting attention, but I think there's a lot of sick people on those bikes as well. I think that they get off on the exposure of themselves. I think these are the same people who the day before that would get charged for flashing the public.
Mm-hmm.
But today it's fine because I'm on a bike and it's for a good cause. So let me let my wang out. It's fine. It's fucked up to me. I don't like it, and I don't know if if there were in any way, shape, or form regulating this or giving them the space that they want to cycle naked. It's fucked up, and it should be every one of them should be charged.
Have you ever heard the expression that itchy hands means good luck?
No.
I'd never heard this one either. A woman from South Carolina said a superstition about an itchy hand led her to winning a major lottery prize. She stopped at a Walmart gas station for a very specific reason. She said, my hand was really itchy. Now, there is an old superstition that says itchy palms are a sign of impending good luck. She bought a $2, 20 times the cash scratch-off ticket and won $30,000.
That's pretty good.
She believed it. She said, my hands are itchy. This has got to mean something. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket. And it fucking won.
You know what's so crazy, though? You know how many stories are like that and they didn't win?
Oh, it's true.
You know what I mean? Like, we tell this. That's why, and God bless the OLG, your PR team. I don't mean to poop on you because I would do the same thing if I worked in PR at OLG. I really would. But they take the most minute things, like kids cold is the reason why they won $1 million. No, like, I mean, they bought a ticket and they decided to, and that could have happened to anyone. My kid got plenty of colds, and I had to rush out last minute to the drugstore and buy shit. And I also bought a lottery ticket. I never fucking won. So this happens 1 million times a day. People go in there. Think about it. There's always a reason why you go. Like, man's gas tank empty. Last minute scramble at Esso wins him $10 million. Yeah, everyone fucking wins somehow. You got to buy a ticket somehow. You're just trying to nitpick and pick out little details about a story to make it a headline, to make people go, well, next time my hand's itchy, I'm going to buy a fucking lottery ticket. And like I said, PR team, no problem with it. I would do the exact, I would sit there and figure out any fucking detail I possibly could to go, that's the headline right there. And it's going to be something random, like kid science project goes awry, wins the family $5 million because they had to go out and buy baking soda.
They
like,
always do
you
that.
know what I mean? Like, you're fucking searching for it hard and you pulled out what you could to make it a headline. But it really is, every single thing is a story.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I mean?
They always put in a line, too, in the press releases from OLG that says things like, they'll tell you who it was that won, the game they were playing that they won, some sort of anecdotal story, like Kat just said, and then they always ask them, what do you intend to do with the money? Because from a media standpoint, that's the meat and potatoes. That's what everybody's waiting for. I don't know if they edit it or if it's just boring as shit people that win the lottery.
Probably.
But it's always like, oh, I'm going to save some, and oh, maybe I'll help my kids put a down payment on a condo, or maybe we'll take a little vacation. Fuck that. If you win the $70 million on Friday night, I want to see a headline like, yeah, I'm going to buy a mountain of cocaine and I'm going to hire every hooker from here to the Quebec border. Every one of them. One night. It's going to be fucking
I
crazy.
would love to see that. I mean, they would never publish that exactly, but at least I don't know, I've never even been on a yacht, but I'm gonna buy one of those things. That looks fun.
Yeah.
Like, give me one of those even. Like, or I'm gonna party all fucking week. Like, I'm gonna nonstop party. Cool. Great. Give me that. Where's that at?
I'm going on a bender. You
Yeah.
know, like somebody say something that really matters, that's relevant, you know?
Yeah.
A cop in San Diego has resigned after being caught locked in the backseat of his cruiser with a female detainee who propositioned him for sex.
The guy gave in, eh?
If you're a cop
Oh no.
and a woman says something like, instead of this ticket, how about you pull out your little and I'll take care of you, and then this works for everybody, and that ticket can go away.
Except it's usually you're big, ginormous. You've never seen it, but you're just gonna lie.
Exactly. Most of the time that wouldn't work. However, there's some cops out there who might think, well, it's not going to suck itself. So, all right, let's go. As a cop, and this might even be day one at the police academy. I've never gone, but I have to think that they have some practical shit going on in Aylmer there.
Yeah.
And they'll probably tell you on day one, you cannot get out of a police car from inside the police cars. Not out of the back. It fucking locks. And when you got in the back seat with this fucking woman, you locked yourself in your own squad car, you asshole.
So hang on a second. He had to call for backup to come get him out.
Yeah. He's in the back getting a little blowy and fucking locked himself in.
They finished at least.
I think that's when he realized, oh shit, yeah, you can't get out of here.
Oh no. Isn't everything like under surveillance in those vehicles? I guess I just have it twisted that like cameras are monitoring that vehicle 24/7 inside and outside with the body cams and all the whole nine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can turn your body
I guess
cam
you can turn it
off.
off. Yeah.
I don't know if there's an in-car camera. Maybe some have it, some don't. Either way,
Right,
maybe
right.
he's just a fucking idiot.
You're not smart to do that, so I can tell you that much.
You've now really, you're really treading on the lines of breaching the peace here.
We're not even cops, and we know that it's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Like, so the person who is a cop should know these things.
Why don't you come back here with me? And the guy's like, oh, fucking right, sure, I'll come back there. Oh, fuck, now we're locked in.
Stupid.
Good on the police cars, though. They clearly do what they're intended to do. They
Yeah.
hold people in.
Do you think that when he called for like backup or whatever he had to do, and at least he had his little walkie there with him, I assume on his shoulder, maybe still there, who knows? I don't know if he took his shirt off or not. So do you think when he called, he was just like secretly hoping whoever came to the scene wouldn't say a fucking word and would just like let him out? And did he make something up? Like, did it say? I would love to know more.
Honestly.
Like, was he like, oh, she said she dropped her fucking earring. I was trying to help her, and then the door shut behind me. He's like, oh, no, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, lie.
He
fucking
probably
lie.
He might have tried to. I would love to know. Why wouldn't you just try? Like, oh no, like it could have been anything. Like, oh, I didn't know she had a cell phone. Looked like she was trying to make calls, and so I tried to grab the phone. And the phone slipped. Like, I don't make anything up.
Don't phone another cop. Phone a friend. Phone a friend. Hey, I'm at work,
I know.
and I'm parked here at Main and Fairway,
Yeah.
and I'm in the back of the car. I just need you to pull up, open the door, and be on your way. That's all I need you to do.
Did he try to like call? Because you could be like, "Hey Siri," and then she's See, you could easily do that. I mean, call whoever.
Somebody.
Did he think about that? He's not smart.
I don't know. And
Sorry, guy. Like, but you're not going to be a cop anymore anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I would
You're
hope
done
not.
now.
But I mean, what about the girl, the sucker? What do we do with her? I mean, she kept up her end of the bargain. I mean, she offered like, hey, I'll do this if you can get rid of the ticket. She doesn't still get the ticket, does she? I mean, she did suck his dick.
No, she definitely does. She definitely gets the ticket. Definitely.
But that's a major ripoff, too. I would argue that in front of the judge. We had a fucking deal. I can't help that this became a big thing because he didn't know the back of a police car locks.
I said, I suck it. You rip up the ticket. It was pretty fucking easy. Like, we figured it out.
Finally, Warren Buffett, who has a net worth of $135 billion. He is one of the most successful businessmen and investors of all time. Mm-hmm. Has revealed some of the keys to his success.
I'm sighing and rolling my eyes a little bit, but I'm willing to hear it out.
I think some of this is good. I get your skepticism, and sometimes people who are doing things make it seem like anybody can do it. In reality, the vast majority of us will never have $135 billion.
And the times are different for people, right? Certain things work out in someone's favor. Sometimes you do get lucky in order to make some money, to make some more money. But by all means, he's made great investments. So let's hear it out.
A key to his success, he says, is the ability to prioritize and use his time wisely. He says being able to say no to people and opportunities that don't directly benefit personal or professional growth is the best way to make use of your limited time. Saying no tactfully is tricky. Plus, it might seem easy for one of the world's richest men to say no. Maybe more easy for him than the average regular Canadian. He says saying no cuts down on non-essential tasks associated with being a CEO. That's why he doesn't talk to analysts or the media. He doesn't go to industry events, and he skips most internal meetings.
Okay.
No.
I don't hate that. Listen, there's so
it.
much power. And when you learn that, because sometimes it's really easy when you're young and you're starting out. And it doesn't matter if you have Warren Buffett money or not, guys. So let's just take that out of the equation, because he makes great points regardless of whether you have a few zeros or many more zeros in your bank account, okay? But he makes sense. All we have is time. That's all we have in life. Saying
time is
no,
currency.
time is the most valuable currency that we have is time. So when you can stand up and say no, even though you think, oh, but they're not going to like me, oh, because all these things eat at you, right? Like, oh, but this, oh, but that, but oh, they're going to be upset when you start accounting for your own feelings and valuing your time. It's one of the reasons why I say for those people who like commute 2 hours a day to and from, like, you're not valuing your own time in life. I really do believe that. Like, you're miserable and you're losing time in your life. Is it worth it? You have to also weigh those things. Don't get me wrong, because for some people it makes sense to do certain things or spend time on things because they do feel they get value out of it. Great. But when it comes to business, I understand. Like, he's not going to take. That's why they say it's hard to get a meeting with that guy. When they say that, they truly mean it. He doesn't meet with people. Period. The end. And a lot of these
I've been dying to pull that trigger for years.
Yeah, but honestly, there's so much power to it. I've even done it in my own business life, where I'm like, people are talking to me and I'm like, okay, I'll do. When I do my voiceover work, and they're like, I want you to get involved in this. Do you know how many endorsement deals I've turned down just because I feel like that's not valuable? Sure, I could take your money, but that is going to take up too much of my time and resources. Say no. Start saying no where you can, right? And it's honestly, there's so much power in it. You feel better. You're like, yeah, you know what? I don't feel bad about it, really.
And on that, have yourselves a great hump day, everybody. We will catch you right back here tomorrow with another After 9.
Bye-bye.